20-160's on now. First offense $143, that's a lot. We didn't make it, we enforce it, don't be mad at the cops. I'm on patrol, man, act like you know it.
Jeff from 51911 Gaming here, and today I wanted to talk about the Diamondback. Now the Diamondback is an exotic rifle that you get from the expeditions on Kinley College. It was only available, I believe, for a short amount of time. It's like a week or so, or 2 weeks. I don't remember what it was, but so this rifle is basically a crit rifle. It's based around critical damage and weapon damage. So and just a disclaimer, these videos, I don't do them on a script. I literally just talk about what I want to make the video about. So let's go over Diamondback. Now, it's a pretty funny quote here. It says, "I don't give a damn if it's not an actual Diamondback. I call it whatever I want, and I like the name." This guy is reptile keeper guy here because it's legit a cobra. It's not. It doesn't look like like a Diamondback. So I mean, it's a cobra wrapped around the barrel of this 1886. So mine's sitting at almost 150k damage, and it's got the talents on it. It's got the three talents on it here. So agonizing bite is hitting an enemy that consumes the mark, and we'll go over that. Critical hit with 20% total damage. Then Deep Fangs says after hitting 5 marked enemies gain 50% reload speed, 20% total damage, and all shots fired are guaranteed critical hits. And then while it's drawn and you're reloading, you get bonus armor. Okay. So the way that this gun works, okay, and what this build is centered around is it's really centered around critical hit damage and weapon damage. Okay, so let's look at what it does. So if it's going to work here, it doesn't look like it's going to work. Let me see if I just shoot one. No, it's not working. So what it does is it puts out... There we go. I just had to take a second to reload. So see the line, the little orange line that's coming out from my body here. So that's marking this target. So this is going to be a critical hit with 20% total damage. Okay. So this is going to one-shot that yellow one very hard. See, then it chooses another target. Now, it doesn't matter where you shoot this target to get the bonus to go up one. See where it says 2 right there by my right hand? You can shoot it anywhere on the enemy that's targeted. However, you're going to get the crit chance, so you want to shoot in the head because it's taking out, the shields of the yellow here. So now you have that Envenom out. Now this is all crit all the time until the buff wears off. It doesn't last very long, but you could do some pretty decent damage against people or mobs with that going. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the build here. So on my mask, I have the damage to elites. On the Badger Tough mask, damage to elites, just because it does that extra damage to the elites there. Plus, it has the 7% damage to elites on it as well. For the chest plate, I used an Overlord because it has the rifle damage on it, obviously. And then I rolled a critical hit damage on top of that with an already 9.5 weapon damage on it. So for the holster, I'm using the Gila Guard, just because it has the 2 offensive mod slots, which you can roll the rifle damage into. Again, for the Overlord for the knee pads, for the 2-set bonus. which also has the rifle damage rolled onto it. I'm using, again, Gila Guard for the hands, just for the hazard protection, and I rolled a pretty high health on it, and it has Obliterate on it. So now, depleting an enemy's armor grants 25% critical hit damage for 5 seconds. Since this build is built around critical hit damage, it makes sense to use Obliterate. Because out in the open world or in heroic missions, when I shoot something, or yellow, its shields are down in one shot. If I don't kill it and get the critical shot in one shot. So that Obliterate's going to pop really quickly. And with Obliterate, when you pop Obliterate and you get that 5th shot with the Diamondback and get that the Envenom perk, it's million headshots. It's just crazy. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a headshot. You can do some pretty good damage. I mean, I'm 2-shotting the heavies, the boomers, out in the world and in heroic missions. So it's a strong gun. For the backpack, using the Badger Tough, I rolled weapon damage on it, and it has the offensive mod on it. So in my secondary, I'm using a marksman rifle, and I like the SVD because it fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. And that's just for if I need something pulls up on me and gets too close, I just pull that out and just melt them. I don't use an AR. I could use an AKM or a P416, but this build has marksman rifle and rifle damage on it on the spec, so that's why I use it for in the sharpshooter spec. So now for the sidearm, I just use whatever. I use this sidearm because it has in rhythm on it, so that if I do go down, I have a chance to get my reviver hive back up as soon as possible. So yeah, so this build, it all focuses around critical hit damage and weapon damage. I'm running a pretty decent toughness here with over 300,000 toughness, but that's only because I have the holster and I rolled some stuff onto these here. So yeah, I mean, this is how I like to run it because it has a higher survivability. But yeah, there's ways to up the reds to give you more damage. But this seems to work pretty well for me. And anytime I use it, I'm at the top of the end of action report. Doing like 280 million damage, say, in a heroic tidal basin. So it's a pretty good build, but again, it's built on weapon damage and critical hit damage. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel. I have content comes out weekly, if not daily. I run with Red Dot Society, and we raid all the time, missions and things like that. So if you're interested, throw me a shout out. So please subscribe to the channel and be safe out there.